Ever wonder what your day would be like with Boom Radio? Yep, us too. We don't think about nightmares.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is the BoomBar right here on your Boom Radio and my name, Dolupo Balogun.
My name is Sola Rogers. It's always a pleasure to be here. And don't forget, thank God it's Friday.
Yes, thank God it's Friday, as there's going to be a lot of things we're going to be talking about. Of course, there's a bit of music, not a lot. There's a bit of music that we're going to be talking about today. A few entertainment stories. Also, as time goes on, we're also going to be talking, of course, there are a bit of football stories, AFCON stories, yeah. And
Don't come for
for
me.
people that did not have,
Don't come for me.
people that did not have
I was just protecting my mental
hope
health.
and what's
As
it
if
called?
you
The
did.
Super Eagles.
As if you did.
No, you made it like that was the end of it.
Dolupo, you were worse. But
No, I
it's
wasn't.
okay.
No, I wasn't.
okay, it's
No,
okay.
I wasn't.
It's
I actually said
okay.
it. We can go back to yes. I actually said it that these people can win. No.
And I didn't. I said the underdogs will win.
You did.
Oh, yeah. You want to go back to the video?
Any which way, so we're gonna be talking about that. Also, there are a few trending topics. The Supreme Court looks like it's every Friday that they deliver judgments. Now, of course, we know that there are timings to this thing, so these things have to be done quickly. Also, there is also going to be a few stories here and there. There are a bit of updates from the explosion that happened in Ibadan as well, and just here and there till the hour end. So sit back, relax, and let us get right into it. But because it's Friday, you know what? Let's start on a very easy note. And there aren't a lot of songs, like I had said earlier, that were released, but there are a few of them. One that obviously got a lot of attention is Ashake. Ashake is back again in 2024. When people are chilling, Ashake is again releasing music.
It was Ashake's birthday, and he felt that the best gift that he could give people is to give you good and new music.
So he definitely released music. He released Only Me.
Yeah.
What do you think about the song?
Okay. So I've listened to the song. I listened to it when it dropped. I listened to it a few days after. And I feel that it's Ashake, but it felt like a different kind of Ashake. But again, can Ashake be boxed into a corner?
Exactly. Like, funny enough, this song, it was kind of giving like very, to me, very dry vibes at the beginning. But then in the middle of the song, something just kicks in. And I'm like, okay.
It's Ashake.
Now this is Ashake. So
Sorry.
yes.
Olola de mi Ashake.
So it was actually it's actually a nice song.
Nice
It's a
song.
very nice song.
Nice
Another song that I feel that was worth mentioning is Skepta's song with Odumodu Black, Idris Elba featuring Tribal Mark. The song is Jangrover. So Jangrover is a Nigerian. Yes, it's a Nigerian. What's the word now? Connotation of jingle over like a rotor or something like that. That's the nursery rhyme. Jingle over like a motor or rotor, whatever it is called, is what Nigerians call Jangilova Ekpomoto. I don't know how that came over. In fact, a lot of us always thought it was Jangrova for the longest of times before you realize that, it's actually an English nursery rhyme. But anyway, we've seen a lot of Skepta with, he's Nigerian anyway. We've seen a lot of him doing a lot of music with Nigerian artists. We've seen a lot of him with Wizkid. He does a lot of stuff with Wizkid, but now he definitely did this with Odumodu Black and Idris Elba. I think that Odumodu Black is really doing well for himself. He's going up in a very, very nice trajectory. So, but this song, very nice song actually, that you cannot take away from it.
Yeah, Odumodu Black has gone beyond being called the rave of the moment to becoming a regular artist that is holding it down, and everybody wants him on their songs.
Yeah, I think it's because it just brings a different vibe. Because you see it a lot. Once somebody brings a different thing than the usual, it just pops. It's the same way. Maybe he's not at that point yet, or maybe the likes of Ashake. But if you also remember, it was kind of the same thing. Yeah. Maybe you can say that, yes, Ashake blew a lot bigger than Odumodu Black immediately he came into. But if we also look at it, Ashake had been singing a while ago before, he became who he is today. So I think that it's a very good trajectory that Odumodu Black is going with. It's a concept of something different, and he's working. It definitely is working. So also there is Major League DJs featuring Victoni with Margaret.
Major League DJs have done a couple of collaborations with a couple of Nigerian artists, and it's always beautiful when you have that handshake across Africa. And they've done another good one. I listened to it a couple of minutes ago, and before I analyze songs, I try to play them 2 or 3 times. This one I played only once, and I said, okay, I like this song. Maybe it was the
funny enough, to me, it was giving typical, not like it's bad, it's actually not bad at all. It was giving typical Victonian. So I'm like, okay. It was a nice song. It is a nice song. There wasn't a wow factor for me. That's it for me.
Cool.
But not a bad song at all. Another song that came out was Q Dot, where he released Kanayo.
Yeah, was Kanayo under arrest?
Anyway, is Q Dot. If you like his kind of songs, it is not bad at all. I think it's actually nice.
So I have not listened yet, so I really can't talk about it, but I intend to do that before the 5 o'clock hour, because in the 5 o'clock hour, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Boom Radio NG, you get to listen, to new music coming out of Niger. Strictly Niger new music. If it's only one that passes our test, even if they drop 500 songs, which is the only one that you will hear at 5 o'clock, But if you're watching us and listening to us for the first time, please remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. On Threads too. We're on Threads. Well, Boom Radio NG. And before we move to anything, it's actually my brother's birthday. His name is Tolu Lokwe Rogers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Otumba Tolu Lokwe. You don't old though, but because you get baby face, we don't feel reveal your age. But you don't old. Congratulations, bro. I love you, bro. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday from Boom Radio to you. It's actually family, so.
It's family.
So moving on from that, another song that popped up today is Cobham's Asuko featuring Salty Soul with Fine Fiona. Nice, cute love song, actually. Very nice song. It is Cobham's. Cobham's has it has it locked down when it comes to music. And Oladips and Ortega with No Grief for Anybody. It's like second or third song now that we are seeing No Grief for Anybody this year, I think that was Spyro's No Grief for Anybody, haven't it?
Yeah, Spyro's one dropped last week. We didn't really talk about songs last week, so we didn't talk about Spyro's No Grief for Anybody. And it's picking up now. People have started playing it. There are a couple of other people that have dropped No Grief for Anybody. Oladips and Ortega just dropped theirs. And the thing is that when you jump on a trend, it could go either way for you. It could go well, it could go south. We'll check back in 8 days' time to find out
what do you think about the song?
The Born Again Oladips, is doing with no grief for anybody.
You will not let
But
this matter go, will
I
you?
want to. At least he's born again. He was dead, then he became born again. At least to die and wake up, now I'm born again. All that dips. All that dips, we need to talk. Come through.
Okay, so what do you think about the song?
It's actually not a bad song. It's not. It's not a bad song. You know, I've played it only once. Like I said, before I analyze songs, I like to play them a couple of times. But it's actually not a bad song. You know, the funny thing is, I'm actually an Ola Dips fan. Strange, but I am. You know, so Ola Dips, I'm gonna play your song again and again.
You will.
I will.
Anyway, moving on from that, that's basically all the music we're going to be talking about today. But please listen and check us out on Boom Radio NG, boomradiong.com. And also, we're going to be playing all these songs from today, tomorrow, and Sunday. It is new music all through the weekend for you right here. Now, before we move on from entertainment gist, there are a few things that I felt that we should also look through. So, there was an interview a few days ago with the late Mohbad's father, where he had made some assertions that Mohbad's wife and his lawyer were trying to kill him. Or some, I felt that was some
heavy, man.
Huge allegations.
That's huge.
Now, his lawyer is now threatening to sue his father for defamation.
Who's lawyers now?
Nobody's lawyer, the person that was accused, has now threatened to sue the man for defamation of character. I think that those were huge allegations, especially if you do not have evidence. I hope he does have evidence to make those kind of allegations. But I also feel that everybody at this point, everybody is just trying to take advantage of the situation. Can you let this boy just rest?
You know,
let everybody give it a break.
Talking about Mohbad resting, he has not been reburied. His body has not been reburied, and and it still seems like we human beings were still on the face of the earth trying to cash in on God knows what. Like I said, we cannot tell people how to grieve, you know, or to mourn their loved ones. But again, when you want to milk the situation, we can see it. People can see it, you know. I respect the dad. I know he's been through a lot. But, you know, we actually had this discussion about that his allegation on the bar.
Yeah.
And again, whatever I said then, I don't remember. But let me say it now. And I'm sure it will be the same thing. For you to allege that someone wants to kill you, you must have proof.
Yeah, you must. It's a lot. I think it's a very heavy allegation.
And it has to be Mr. Falana of all lawyers. You know, say that bros, no degree for anybody.
I think people really need to be careful.
So I hope Mohbad's daddy is ready for this fight.
For this fight that he started with. Also, for artists that seem to always go late for concerts, somebody has now decided to sue someone. And Madonna has now been sued by two of her fans for going late to a concert for the.
It's a breach of contract.
It is actually a breach of contract. Whether we like it or not, you had said you had put out tickets and put out the time that something is going to start. It doesn't start that time. And this part of the world, I think we're used to it.
Please,
or would I say people are used to it?
The part of the world, Dolupo,
Nigeria.
Because this afternoon I will fight you.
Nigeria.
Please be specific. In Nigeria, we are used to what? Artists
getting
not keeping to time.
It's a thing. In fact, I don't even think that is an artist thing. I think that is a Nigerian. You start hearing African time. Even though the African time that we say is about Nigeria.
Have you been to any comedy show in Lagos in recent times?
You understand? I would think that this African time that we say is casting aspersions on all other African countries. Let's call it Nigerian time.
Have you been to any
Please don't even let us start.
Any award show in recent times? They tell you red carpet starts at 5.
December, last December literally gave me, as he's saying it now, is giving me PTSD. I off the top of my head, like, you know, when stuff is just clicking in your head, like this one and this one and this one and this one. Don't even let's start mentioning.
You know, so
Don't even let's start.
So this is a clarion call to organizers of shows and artists. If your show is going to start at 1 a.m., put it on your ticket. 1 a.m. Another thing that you do.
Make sense.
Another thing that you need to do is you're organizing a show. You want people to come through. Oh, they should come to a hotel. They should come to Eco Atlantic or wherever, Oriental or wherever. Let them know what they're getting into. Now, a whole Madonna is being sued. If Madonna can be sued, who's your daddy?
Maybe it's time to we should actually get started.
Dolupo, you know what? Let us
make money.
Let us buy some tickets this year.
You know we're going to make money.
I'm not joking.
Yes, so
let us buy some
serious
because
money.
Once they tell us the show starts at 5 and 2-3 hours, we'll just be recording. I will just be
recording with timestamp. You are gone.
Okay,
all the money that you made, you are going to pay me.
It's really not fair for you as an artist.
Because also look at it that people, okay, you call a show 7 p.m. I've gathered that. Now, this is one of the shows that I think I attended last year. And you get there maybe 7:30, 8, you think, I'm late, so I hope I get seat.
African time.
Nigerian time.
She did African time. Then got to the show and the show had not even started.
The African timed me. I got African timed. 10 p.m. We're just beginning.
Red carpet just this.
You know that at 7 p.m. you think that maybe let's say bad as bad. If the show starts at 7, 8ish, by 12 midnight we're out of place.
All right.
Midnight, that's when it's just.
Now there should start.
You people, I'm in for you this year.
So guess what, guys? If you're watching us now and you have not subscribed to our channel on YouTube, please subscribe to Boom Radio NG. Follow us, leave a comment, or a critique. We don't mind. Critique us. It's all right. We'll learn from it. We'll get better. You know. So back to the matter. Before we leave the matter of entertainment and how artists think it's fashionable for them to come late to their shows, you know, and
could make sense.
So there's one or two artists that came late and they were not remorseful about it. But one of our artists went to one other African country. Something went wrong. They arrest the guy.
Yeah, I think that it's a level. I think that it's a level of responsibility. Be responsible for the things that you do.
It's
and
important,
the things that.
actually.
Yes, I think it's just a level of responsibility. Also, in North Korea, a few teenagers have now gotten 12 years of hard labor for watching a K-pop video.
Yeah, so the two Koreas, you know, there's the North and there's the South.
It's like night and day, literally.
It actually is night and day. In the North, you know, there's no entertainment that's not approved by the government. They've actually don't have access to the internet like everybody else does. You know, a whole lot of stuff is government controlled. And they live to worship their ruler. Ruler. But in the South, you know, it's a free country. People they even have Afrobeats in South Korea. Now, sadly, the culture of K-pop, which is Korean pop, and it's actually one of the biggest genres of music.
Yeah, they're doing
in
really
the
well.
world.
They're really doing
it's
well right
now. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
They're doing really
K-pop,
well.
you know, and even their drama is big now across the
Big.
world.
Nigerians watching K-drama.
And their neighbors, their brothers and sisters across the border, are not allowed to
do those things. It's I think just
so those
very
kids
sad.
have now been sanctioned, and it might get worse. The sad part about this North Korean debacle is that the Western world, they're not going to do anything about it.
Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen about it. Maybe we'll see. Maybe one day, I'm hoping something happens, but at the moment, nothing happens about it. Now, before we leave entertainment, there's a story or a video that I saw a few hours ago, and it has got a lot of people. In fact, it's trending #1, and I felt that we should discuss it. Now, so this video is about Nigerian media personality, where she was having an interview. I think she has a show, and where she invites people and they talk. And this person of Toke Makiwa, where she talked about how she feels that it's hard dating or being with one person. So she doesn't feel that is a deal breaker for cheating cheating is not a deal breaker for her, because she's come to realize that as much as a lot of people say, okay, men cheat, women actually cheat too. So everybody, if I can forgive you, you too can forgive me.
I've always been of the opinion that we should be careful how we use gender to define situations. I say it a lot. So I agree with Toke Makiwa that cheating is not gender-based.
Yes, funny enough, as much as I agree with her that cheating is not gender-based, and how she told, so in her own way of cheating not being a deal breaker for her is because she too is prone to cheating.
Yeah.
And I get that point. But for me, I think, how do I explain it now? Her reason is my own reason why cheating should be a deal breaker.
Okay, so
let me break it down.
All right, go ahead.
So you say that everybody cheats, which I agree. There is no gender in this thing. Yeah. So the reason is same. When it's something I hear a lot when you a man cheats and then you hear they say that the wife should be praying for him. I get the point. If the woman is able to pray for the husband too should be able to pray for his wife
when she cheats. But if in the same vein, if a woman feels obligated, because the truth is that whether we like it or not, we've come to a realization that love is not enough. At times, it's about discipline. It's not about the other person. It's about you as a person and knowing this is not what I want to do. Love has never been enough.
This is not who I am as a person.
Yeah.
So if I feel obligated enough to know that, okay, I'm not cheating because I'm not a cheat. I'm going to go the extra mile to do a lot of things, cut off a lot of things. Once I see anything, I quickly run. Not just because I love you that much, because sometimes it is about your spirituality. Sometimes it's about you as a person, being who you are. So what is going to mandate me or make me obligated to stick to one person, the other person too is obligated. That's it for me. So if you're not going to be involved, give it 100, like I'm going to give it 100, then there's no point.
All right. So I think I totally agree with you, but I need to explain my stance. I was hoping I would do that before you said what you said, but it's still the same thing at the end of the day, in case people have not left us. So what I'm trying to say is that when I say that I agree with Toke Makiwa, I'm saying that cheating is not gender-based.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people, men are scum, men are this, men are...
Scum has no gender.
Thank you. If men are scum, women are scum.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm now saying beyond that is that nobody holy pass, like my brother Two-Face said.
Oh, yeah.
But why would you go through all the rigors if you could actually avoid it? Do you understand? So if you can, really, please, avoid it. And again, you find out that people can dish what they can't take.
They can't take, exactly. So that's it for me. Like, if I'm going to be able to do it, you should not.
A lot of men will say, "Oh, the woman should not do this, the woman should not do that."
Yeah, and I think that
they're not going to turn around and do the same things that they're saying women shouldn't do.
And you feel it's okay. And I think that as society makes it worse. As society makes it worse, there is not trying to sound like a feminist or anything, but it's almost like there is a I won't say sign of approval, but there's a sort of stigmatization that comes with women that cheating that is not necessarily with men.
Well, it's hard to argue with that. Except we want to be fooling ourselves and we want to be having these gender fights based on sentiments, not based on reality. So there's the story of a woman in the Bible that was going to be stoned to death.
Yeah.
And Christ, the Savior, was there. Jesus Christ was there. And she more or less was hoping that he would save her. And Christ did not even stress. He said, you want to kill this woman? They said, yeah, she's fine. And that's what they used to do. The law would say that you should stone adulterers and cheaters to death. And he said, you know what? Let he that is without sin cast the first stone. And one by one, they dropped the stones that they wanted to stone the woman. And the woman was dumbfounded. And he asked her, has anybody stoned you? She said, no. He said, oh, yeah, go and sin no more. Abi, go. You understand? It was a woman that was talked about in that story. Now, again, in Christian marriages, and even in the Bible, it says, a woman shall leave a family.
A family, yeah.
And cleave and hold on to a man. It did not say a man.
Yeah.
Except maybe it was lost in translation.
Yeah, so whether we like it or not, there's this patriarchy.
It shows that, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's something called polygamy, monogamy, and there's other gamies. In polygamy, men can marry more than one wife.
Yeah.
In the other aspect is one man, one woman. And there are laws against women practicing the replica of polygamy. I know there's a name for it, but I can't remember now.
I think it's polyandry.
Yeah. There's a law. There are laws against it, actually. Funny thing is, even in Nigeria, there are laws against men who are legally married marrying another woman. There's actually a law against it.
Yeah.
If you go to the registry, they will tell you.
Yeah, you can't actually.
But a lot of people get away with a lot of things because nobody's enforcing any law and all of that. So, is this skewed in support of men? Yes, it is. The talk of how women cannot do this and cannot do that. And that's why a lot of women are speaking for themselves these days and they're fighting the system. But in doing it at times, they tend to go overboard. Who give men the right to tell women what to do? Do you understand? Where I stand, I believe that I should not do anything that will deprive you of your own freedom, your pride and joy as a woman. And it should be the same with me, you know. But these days, you find that we've suppressed women so much that it's hard to even hear their voice when they speak. And that should not be the case. It shouldn't be the case. But regardless of what it is, there's the right thing and then there's the opinion. At times, they're not the same.
So really, so basically at the end of the day, for like you had said, I think basically what you had said was that everybody don't do what you will not take.
Yeah, because if even in some religions where they tell you that you can marry more than one wife, people have not read the clause.
There's a lot to it
there's
as well.
A clause.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting
there's
how
a clause.
It's interesting when I was watching that interview and the person she was talking to now said, "Oh, okay, so since is that then you should be okay with having an open marriage." And she said no, that she doesn't. I'm like, okay, so what do you want? Do you understand? Like, make up your minds.
Maybe our problem is about labels, not about the actions of the things that she does. It's about the labels.
So it's actually more of
it's more of an open marriage because
more of not taking responsibility.
It's labels. It's the labels. It's just the name. You don't want to be seen to be in an open marriage.
What is what it is?
You saying that if your husband can cheat, you can cheat. That's an open marriage. You know, some people swing. husbands and wives go to funny parties and things happen. We know all those things are happening now. I have not been to any, but we know those things are happening. So those things tend towards the open marriage. Or like there was a time when Facebook will ask you if you were in a relationship or it's complicated. I'm sure they've removed that thing by now. There was a time when it was part of your Facebook profile.
Yeah.
One of my organs that time he was it's incomplete. It's complicated.
It can be, but you know that honestly and truly.
So I asked him because we were close then. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "You will not understand." So when he explained to me, I did not understand.
But really and truly, after seeing all this, or maybe growing up for so long, you know that it's sometimes it actually is complicated.
Yeah, at times it gets complicated.
It is actually complicated. That's really what. There's really nothing anybody.
Dolupo, you know the sad thing about life is that you think you have it all worked out, all mapped out. Then it gets complicated.
Exactly. So that's really what. So you really can't complain. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Anyway, let's move on from that and let's go on to. Do we do sports first? Yes, I think we should actually. We should do sports next. Where AFCON. See, it is obvious that the AFCON that we're dealing with right now, it definitely cannot be predicted. Anything can happen to anybody at this point. In fact, the way it's going, host might not even get to round of 16 if care is not taken. It started with Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau. Equatorial Guinea, in the past 2 games, have shown that they definitely are not playing and they're forced to reckon with. They defeated Guinea-Bissau with 4-2 yesterday. Then later in the day at 6 p.m., Ivory Coast and Nigeria. And it was a lot. In fact, the president of Ivory Coast had declared a public holiday. Interesting how they played with Guinea-Bissau and they did not declare a public holiday. But it had to declare, like the first day of the AFCON,
Their opening ceremony.
There was no public holiday, but it had to be the one with Nigeria, only for you to get humiliated.
I really don't know about humiliation or whatever. The truth is that the Ivorians were the better team on the day. If you go by the statistics of the game, they had 3 shots on target to Nigeria's 1. Now, shots at goal, Nigeria had a lot, but they were all off target.
Off target.
They had over 60% possession. If someone has 60% of 100, you know who be your guy. They had over 400 passes, while Nigeria had over 200 passes. That means almost double your number of passes.
Last.
All of those numbers are showing you that the Ivorians dominated more or less. But you see, where the problem starts is where they don't get the required results.
Well, that's the would I say the sad part about football is that it's about the goals. It's not about your tactics. It's not about whatever it is. And like you said, there were a lot of shots. Everybody had shots. Everybody had missed chances. There was a penalty. It was taken. But one thing that I think that I would say, shout out to the Ivorians, is that I saw 2 different videos. There was one I saw that this was before Nigeria scored. There was one after Nigeria scored. And I think 3. The first one was the way people trooped in to watch this game. It was packed with Ivorians, yeah? And then I saw a video where literally it looked like 2 Nigerians taunting the Ivorians, yeah? And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, these people will get beaten. They will beat these people. But between yesterday and today, we've not heard of one single form of violence around it. And I think that with the kind of things that we've seen in the last couple of months, shout out to them. I think that it is worthy of emulation.
And commendation.
Yes, and commendation. It is. That's what sportsmanship is about. We need. I think it's amazing because we see it. It's not just in Africa. We see it in Europe. We see it everywhere. There's a lot of teams, especially in the last 1-2 seasons, are paying heavy fines from clubs to countries. Even happened in Nigeria. Even Nigeria. I'm not even sure Nigerians are even this tolerant.
Turkey?
I'm not even sure that this
in
tolerant.
Turkey, there have been cases of referees being attacked.
Yes, now
all sorts of things.
That there's which club? Remember this club that the president punched the referee and all that? I think it's Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah, in Turkey.
So it's I personally think that it is commendable. It is really honestly commendable for that. But anyway, y'all gotta beat Equatorial Guinea or you're out of the game. It is what it is.
As it stands, also, Nigeria should not rest on our oars. Don't think that because you beat Cote d'Ivoire,
they need to
via
beat
a penalty,
Guinea-Bissau.
you must win that game.
Yeah, they need to. It's a win.
You know, there are four best losers of positions. You don't want to be in any of those four.
Any of those four, yeah.
You don't want
in
to
fact,
be in any
the
of those
best thing is to top your
group.
Your group. That's the best position anybody could be. And especially with the way their group is, anybody at the moment, I think that there's still, it could still be anybody's game at this point. So everybody needs to step up their game. And also, Egypt and Ghana, interesting group there also, as Egypt again played another draw with Ghana, 2-2. Very, very interesting group. Very, very interesting group, because now also it could be anybody's game. The second person, I think the person that is leading that group right now is Cape Verde. At the moment, 40 minutes, they are actually beating Mozambique 1-0. So it's like I said, it could still be anybody's game. Also, shout out to Mohamed Salah. It looks like he got injured. And my man, I'm like, this is the reason why some clubs don't want to release the players. But also, anybody could get injured anywhere. But, I was reading it, and like that, his stats are crazy. In about 5.5 seasons, he's only missed 10 Premier League games. That is some major fitness right there.
Yeah, Mo Salah is the spine and the life of the Liverpool team. Mm-hmm. You know that he has all of that on lock. And that's why, jokingly, the coach of Liverpool was hoping that Egypt will crash out at the group stages. And it's looking like that already, because 2 games that they could have won, they played draws. Mm-hmm. Yes, the first game, nobody saw that coming. They got it. Then the one against Ghana, thought, oh man, Egypt will edge it, but Ghana scored first. It was downhill.
It's anybody's game at this point. So it's
but with Mo Salah, you expect some magic, you expect some miracles.
So especially now that Mo Salah might not be playing the next games, it's not wonderful for them as well. Another game that I think that will be fantastic to watch this evening at 6 p.m. West African time is Senegal-Cameroon. That game could pass for a final.
It could. Egypt-Ghana could pass for a final. That was last night. Senegal-Cameroon passes for a final.
Yesterday's game.
Senegal are defending champions. They won the AFCON for the first time, 2 years ago when they finally won it. Cameroon are multiple champions. They've won it over and over. They both have something to play for. Yeah,
definitely.
So it is the team that wants it the most. I don't want to be sounding like some of this, whatever. But I think that if anybody wants to see a good display of African football,
it's this game.
Watch this game.
Yeah.
watch this game. Forget wherever you are.
Yeah.
Whatever you're
I
doing.
think this is it
watch-
will be beautiful. Yes,
watch-
it's going to be a very
watch
beautiful
this
game.
game.
I agree with you. Now, also finally today there's going to be Guinea, Gambia at 9 p.m.
Guinea, you might want
How many
to.
Guineas are there?
Oh, there's Equatorial Guinea. There's Guinea-Bissau.
There's
and,
Guinea.
and there's Guinea.
Okay.
You know, of course. Then there's Gizzard that's related
What?
to Guinea. Guinea Gizzard. You don't know the.
No, just move on. I have nothing to say at this point.
At least now I have your attention. So what it is that Guinea. Check one friendly game that they played with one country in West Africa. I won't mention the country. They beat them.
Okay. Wait, though, they're the ones that beat Nigeria.
I don't know.
Did they beat Nigeria? Let's be honest.
I don't
Did
know.
they beat Nigeria?
But
Mm.
the Gambia also, you might not reckon with them, but this is a tournament where nobody they agree for
I
anybody.
have come to realize AFCON is not anybody's mate.
Yeah.
AFCON is not anybody's
AFCON
mate.
is the other definition of no Greek for anybody.
No, not at all. So at the moment, it could be anybody's game. Now let's move on from that. Wow, our time is a lot, but let's see how much we can still talk about. So first things first, one conversation I thought that we should have is that there are two different scenarios. First things first, the federal government or the Ministry of Aviation has relocated the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAAN headquarters, back to Lagos State. And they've given their
Emphasis on
reasons.
back.
Also, the CBN had earlier in the week moved some departments back to Lagos. Now, two things which I feel that what's the word now? That is common with these two things is where they had said that when it comes to FAAN and comes to basically parts of the CBN that are moving their HQ back to Lagos is that most of the work that is being done is done in Lagos State. Take, for example, FAAN is saying that, number one, when the HQ was moved to Abuja, there is not one FAAN building that could accommodate. There's not one FAAN building that could accommodate everybody, which meant that some people had to move back to Lagos because it wasn't working. One, so why did you move them? Two, Lagos has the busiest airport, which automatically has the most business that FAAN is doing. So why is your HQ? And then they now have to be moving back and forth. So why is your HQ where you are not maximizing your potential?
I totally like
Also,
your question and your submission.
Also,
but let me wait for the next
let me
line.
just
Yeah.
merge it.
Yeah, I'm
The
waiting.
CBN is also saying that with an organization that has over 500 staff, their HQ, and 200 go to work in other states and have to return to the
Federal capital.
Federal capital. Take, for example, some departments like the Bank Supervision Department work mainly in Lagos because the HQs of banks, if not all, most
Virtually
banks are all of them in Lagos. So they end up having to go back and forth. They're talking about cost of transport, cost of staying back in Lagos, logistics, even safety, back and forth. So what's the point? And basically both these agencies are saying that it is wasting a lot of funds
that we don't have.
So in the first place, what was the point of moving? Is there something that has to happen in Abuja?
You know, we are threading carefully because people tend to do things based more on sentiment than on reality and facts. And that's why we are where we are today. to be honest with you, I've always had an opinion. And when some things go wrong, I see that my opinion makes sense. When things are normal, you sound like a crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
Let me explain. Why is the Ministry of Agriculture or the Minister of Agriculture in the city center? Why? Why is the Minister of Sports office not at the National Stadium? And why is the Commissioner of Sports office not at the National Stadium where the action is?
Yeah.
You know why what I'm saying makes sense? There was a time when the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, had ordered that top military echelon
should move to Sambisa
move to the epicenter.
Northeast. That's where you are working. What are you doing here?
Action is. That's what I'm feeding off from. Dolupo.
Take for example.
Because it's better for
you're there,
you
see
as a
what is
practitioner
happening.
to be on ground. The Minister of Agriculture or Commissioner of Agric in Lagos should have an office in Ekpe, Badagry, and Ikorodu, because those are the places where you can build farms and monitor what's going on, and they have access to you. Oh, they actually need to rent tractors. But if you're in Alausa,
you still have to. They have to.
You know the bottlenecks and everything.
Another reason is.
So it's the same thing for the Federal Airports Authority.
It does not even and
and
the CBN. So the
Central
CBN
Bank
is saying that so the departments are the bank supervision, other financial institution supervision, customer protection supervision, payment system management department, and financial policy regulations department. They're saying all this basically have to do with banks. All these departments, HQs, all the HQs of these banks are in Lagos. They're also saying that this will reduce the capacity that the Abuja office can take. They're saying that the capacity of the Abuja HQ is about 3,000. But because of this movement, the staff strength in Abuja at the moment is about 4,000, which is also a threat to the facilities at the head office. Same thing that FAAN was talking about, that they do not even have an office that can accommodate everybody
Their
there.
staff in Abuja. And in Lagos,
So
they have offices.
So what are we doing?
And again, the reason why we're bringing this to the fore is because a lot of people have started politicizing it.
Oh, yes.
Again.
There's a lot of... I saw a headline where it said Northern elders are saying that they're removing more economic activity from the north and moving into the south. Please, okay. So, except you're going to explain why banks... You're saying that banks should move. It does not even make any sense. Like, what does that even do for anything? What does that do for anybody?
Let us stop playing politics with everything. The need to restructure organizations like the Central Bank and the Federal Airports Authority should be looked into meritoriously. Look at it and look at the merits and the demerits of it. If the merits are more than the demerits, then please let's leave the noise behind.
I honestly...
There's no way we can move forward if we don't work on this.
This, to me, like you said, is a clarion call to every single agency. And now needs to be looked into what is happening right now. Every single agency. Do you all have to be in Abuja? It's not making sense. I won't be surprised if NDDC headquarters is in Abuja.
It's not impossible.
I would not be surprised. Do you understand? Like, there are some things that don't make any sense. Those are things that we need to look into and look how we're reducing costs, saving lives. Because really, people traveling back and forth alone, anything can happen. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, we'll move on from that and see what happens. Talking about the CBN, the former CBN governor has now pleaded not guilty to the alleged procurement. What is it?
I'm listening to what you are reading.
Alleged procurement fraud.
Leave me alone.
You seem triggered.
you are triggered too.
Okay.
If you are even more than triggered. So, Mr. Godwin Emefiele has pleaded not guilty to the charges that were brought against him. And the courts will now have their turn at looking at those documents to find out the level of culpability or not that Mr. Emefiele has.
Okay, now also talking about an update of the Ibadan explosion. And there's a news that popped up where the manager of a hotel that was close to the explosion site,
Born.
they were not like around the area exactly. Not they're close, but they're not like they were in. It was more of glass shattering and all that had affected them. The building was okay, but sadly, the manager of this hotel passed on due to shock.
A lot of us do not know our health conditions. We do not know what we are going through. But again, maybe he just felt that he was fine until the heart attack happened. And, you know, it's not something that you can actually speak to. It's not something you can control.
Mm-hmm.
One moment, you are the manager of an hotel. The next moment, there's a loud bang, and that your entire life changes forever. You know, I honestly don't know the status that this manager of the Bond Hotel had. We don't know medical or otherwise. But one thing is that there's always a start and the end. And if people could inculcate this into their doings and their dealings, then life could be way more better. If we can understand that, you will not always be on top all the time. It's so painful that this is maybe someone's father, someone's aunt, someone's uncle, someone's partner. And you know the funny thing, it was not impacted by physically.
Directly,
by the impact of the bomb.
No, so now that this incident calls to question how many more people were actually impacted by this than the people in Adeyi?
Across the axis, because Adeyi is just the epicenter of what happened. And you know there's this massive radius of houses and people that got involved. So do we even now just say, okay, whatever it is, look, no? Or do we really concern ourselves about keeping proper data? The governor said 2 dead, and everybody has carried 2 dead. Then they said 3 more dead, and there's a Sun report to that effect, and there's 3 more dead. So if there's now 8 dead, how is it going to be? It's also up to them. And that's where the government is failing that. At some point, even when you stop publishing stories, whatever, online, there are people who are in line management or in other things that could still help you.
Yeah, so I honestly just feel that the Oyo State government at this point also still needs to look through. There are probably a lot more people that maybe that not dead, that got affected
based on this,
that have died, if not dead, gotten seriously injured. Some people's blood pressure probably shot up, and then the hospital for this reason or that reason, just because of one singular.
And they're not captured at all.
And they're not captured. I think this is one thing people actually need to look into.
The residents of the area that this explosion happened have organized themselves and they are taking stock. Maybe another thing should be organized for the people who live around there who are not necessarily residents of that neighborhood. You know, we heard that, look, we saw a video of some young men who were making a TikTok video in as far as Songo.
Yeah.
And their ceilings came down.
So it's.
But government really needs to work harder on these things, though. You know, get the data in, work on the data. Data speaks to life. Everything. Once you have the proper information, you can actually work it out. You know, because again, there will be disbursements that are going to come. There's palliatives. What data are you going to use?
What data are you working with? At least let it be accurate to a certain angle. So quickly before we go, there's just from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court definitely did their thing today again. Like I said, like they said, like they did last week, you could have just said that you are just, you are just affirming people's election.
Rubber stamp.
I would call it rubber stamp. I would
Call it
maybe say
stamp.
there's no need to stress, so everybody maintain your status quo and we will all move on. Not waiting for some judgment and you think that anything is going to happen or anything is going to come out of it. Any which way, as we speak now, the Supreme Court has affirmed Jakwabedo as Ogun State Governor, affirmed the Nasarawa Governor, affirmed Ubasani as Kaduna Governor, affirmed Governor Inuwa as Gombe Governor, and also affirmed Nasir Idris as Kebbi Governor.
The 5 governors that you mentioned, I thought there were about 13 or so cases.
So apparently, there's only about 6 or 5 or 6 that were treated today. The truth is that why they're doing all these things is that there's a 60-day window for them to do all this submission. And sorry, then Delta Governor as well.
Sheriff Obere. I got it right?
No.
Okay, please correct me. Sheriff what?
Obere worry.
I don't think you got it. I better worry. Even you had to look like I don't know what I'm saying.
Anyway.
But congratulations to all the governors that have gone through this process. Mm-hmm. I have a call to you guys. Please get to governors. Forget about party. Forget about
now. This has moved on. Supreme Court. There's not anybody can
after Supreme.
There's nothing you can do. You go to
who
God.
came up with the word Supreme and made it into a court? It's the end. After Supreme, there's
nothing else. That's it. The Supreme Court is your apex court, and that's all. Anyway, the offshoot of this now, talking about the we've seen, especially a lot last week, we saw a lot of jubilations that happened in a lot of states. Now reverses the case in Nasarawa State, where a protest has erupted following the Supreme Court judgments affirming the election of Governor Abdullahi Sule. The Lafayette Jos Road has been completely blocked. The supporters of the PDP are burning tires in front of 6th Secretariat of the party. Thus,
you all stay safe out there, man. Stay safe.
Yeah, people definitely need to be safe at this point. So, before we go quickly, the Nigerian Army has uncovered 14 illegal crude oil reservoirs in Rivers State. I do not know what people are doing.
Crude oil reservoirs, 14 illegal. My problem with those oil installations that are illegal is that they tend to sell their faulty products into the mainstream market. And that's where the problem lies.
That's where the problem lies. So I hope that the police and the army are doing a lot more. Their videos. I saw a video earlier today of the army rescuing. In fact, I saw stories, two different incidents where two different incidents of kidnappings, and the army swung into action and got all these people out. Kudos to them. They're doing amazing work that you and I cannot do. Let's call it speed is speed. They're doing a lot, and kudos to them. It is amazing the kind of work they're doing.
God bless our troops.
Yes, God bless
God bless the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the civilian JTF, the Civil Defense Corps, Amotekun,
everybody,
and the police. God bless you guys, because the truth is we can't do without you guys.
Exactly. So on that note, that is all we have to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back again on Monday at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Bar. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.
Peace.